Hi guys, it's Dr. India Johnson with Rose Med Spa and Wellness. I'm here with you on day 2 of our mini series, Learning How to Get Healthy, Treat the Root Cause of Illness. So yesterday we talked a lot about the gut. We're going to expand on that today with our food source and how that affects inflammation and disease in the body. So just for reference, here's the picture of a healthy gut on the left-hand side. So you're supposed to have this layer of bacteria. Good bacteria creates a mucus. You're supposed to have these tight junctions. And so only the smallest particles that are fully digested are supposed to be able to get through and be absorbed by the bloodstream. As you can see, because of all of these different factors, it causes leaky gut. Toxins get through these big channels. Food sensitivities develop because foods get through that aren't fully digested or shouldn't get through to the bloodstream. So what happens in autoimmune disease is that you can have altered gut bacteria. That leads to leaky gut where things get through that shouldn't. And so it activates these autoimmune cells, and they can actually migrate to other parts of your body. So they can cause peripheral organ attacks. They can cause problems with your pancreas. So that develops type 1 diabetes. With lupus, it can attack your skin, your joints. In the case of rheumatoid arthritis, it migrates and attacks your joints. And so all of this kind of comes together for an autoimmune response. And so the researchers of this study, which was published in 2022, looked at gut microbiota, leaky gut, and autoimmune disease. And what they found is that the composition, meaning good bacteria versus bad bacteria, has been shown to influence your disease state. So a leaky gut comes out as a consequence of an impaired intestinal barrier, that's that tight junction, in chronic health conditions. And it's a classic indicator of intestinal inflammation, excuse me. So when this happens, toxins can enter the bloodstream that aren't supposed to be there, and they trigger inflammatory responses, and they manifest as various diseases. So your genetic predisposition is what tells how this inflammation comes to be. So in me, my inflammation might show up as lupus, but in you, your inflammation might show up as rheumatoid arthritis. So this is looking at how your environment interplays with your genes, which is called epigenetics. So we study all of that. We look at you very specifically, and we target a plan to help you get to the root cause instead of throwing an anti-inflammatory at you or a steroid at you, which is really treating a symptom of a problem. It's not treating the root cause of why you're inflamed in the first place. So a lot of the dietary triggers are antibiotics in food, chemicals in plastics, which are really gaining a lot of attention as they should. BPA actually lines canned goods. It's pesticides and herbicides that cause a leaky gut. Medications like Pepcid or NSAIDs or antibiotics, those can all trigger a leaky gut. So if you've noticed you have an autoimmune condition and it came about suddenly after a high dose of antibiotics, this is for you. Artificial sweeteners are a huge trigger, a high carbohydrate diet and high processed fats. Now, I'm not talking about good fats like avocados and seed oils. I'm talking about like potato chip oil. So, why is the US so unhealthy? If you look at foods that are produced in the US versus the UK, look at the alarming number of ingredients in just Quaker oats. We have all of these extra artificial strawberry flavors. Look what they have in Europe. Summer berries, they have raspberry pieces, freeze-dried strawberry pieces. Why in the UK do they get real strawberries, freeze-dried raspberries, but we get artificial strawberry flavor? These are things that we should be alarmed about, and that's contributing to the reason that the US has such a poor health outcome. We focus on illness care, we don't focus on preventative care. And this is our stance to say, hey, come to us. We're going to help you through this, and we're going to make a big change in healthcare. Even soda. So obviously everyone knows soda isn't good for you, but if you look at Mountain Dew from the UK, they use real sugar. We use high fructose corn syrup, sodium benzoate, EDTA, yellow number 5. None of those things are allowed in UK. Artificial sweeteners specifically, they looked at this study in 2024 by Che et al., and they indicated that non-caloric sweeteners aspartame, sucralose, they alter the composition of your gut bacteria. So even though they don't have calories, they're still changing how your body reacts to it. It resulted in a reduction in beneficial bacteria. Here's a few examples. And it also fed the bad bacteria, possibly resulting in disruption like IBD, metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. So why do we care? If you can introduce good probiotic strains like lactobacillus and bifido, it can mitigate or relieve the progression of autoimmune disorders in these populations. Stop and think about that. We can reverse autoimmunity by removing these things from our diet. It's incredibly complicated. You can't just take any probiotic. You have to take a very specific strain that's targeted for you specifically. I've been studying this for almost 10 years. So our team is here to help walk you through this, but first you have to understand what the cause of your disease is, and this is it. Here's a list of diseases that are related to dysbiosis, meaning the imbalance of gut bacteria. MS, AS, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune hepatitis, type 1 diabetes, celiac, lupus. Here's the dysbiosis. So by studying these bacteria, you can understand this is a new subset of medicine, but there's a lot of research coming out about it. And so by removing the things from our diet that we know are harmful, we can regulate some of these things. As I said, it's a very new realm of research. We're very fortunate in the St. Louis metro area to have Washington University in our backyard. They're a world leader in microbiome research. So I'm studying this all the time. I live in the literature, and you really need somebody to help guide you through this because it gets very overwhelming. So if you think that you might benefit from this, definitely schedule a consultation today. We try to keep our costs very affordable because I understand that current healthcare systems are illness-based. We don't want illness-based medicine anymore. If you don't focus on getting well, then you'll be forced to deal with an illness. So definitely come see us and stay tuned for day 3 tomorrow. Look at those labels and just start making yourself aware of the things that are affecting you and your family and your diet. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.